Tonight, shots fired. Fort St. John police kept busy this weekend. Wildfire wrap-up. A better weekend for firefighters here in Northeast BC. And reopened. Residents allowed back to the Fish Creek Community Forest. Good evening and thank you very much for joining us. And we begin tonight with two separate incidents of shots fired in Fort St. John over the weekend. The first happening just before 2 Sunday morning in the 11,000 block of 92nd Street. When police arrived at the scene, they found a vehicle with what appeared to be bullet holes in it. Officers checked the home and the surrounding area, finding that no one was injured. Mounties say the shooting appears to be targeted. The residence is known to police. Investigators say there is no ongoing risk to the public. Now, anyone with any information or dash cam footage of the area is being asked to contact the Fort St. John RCMP. Later that same day, reports of shots fired on 269 Road. Now, police are not providing much information about this incident. It happened around 6 Sunday night. A spokesperson for the RCMP saying no one was injured as a result of the shooting. Mounties say the investigation into both shots fired reports are ongoing. A 2-year-old has been found alive in Fairview, Alberta, more than 8 hours after being reported missing. RCMP say around 10:30 last night, west of Peace River, a child wandered away from their parents. Several groups, including more than 100 community volunteers, searched throughout the night.
Just because there's so many people out there, it allowed multiple different types of effort to be done. And there's other tasks too, like even between coordination, communication, getting, water and stuff out to the volunteers, all that stuff. So like having that many resources also helps in order to really get that part of it going as well.
The police say the child was found just after 6 o'clock this morning without any injuries. Well, it was a much better weekend for firefighters here in Northeast BC. In the past 24 hours, there have been 2 new wildfire starts, one burning out of control just over 100 kilometers southeast of Fort Nelson. It's a holdover fire from 2 years ago that in the past has burned 130 hectares. The second fire, thought to be human-caused, was quickly put out. It started south of Fort Nelson and was less than a hectare in size. Now, a third fire started on Friday. That was near Highway 29 in Farrell Creek. That fire is still burning out of control. Crews arriving at the scene this afternoon. According to the BC Wildfire Service, the blaze is being listed as half hectare in size. And the City of Fort St. John announcing the Fish Creek Community Forest has been fully reopened. A wildfire started back on May the 1st that closed the forest and forced people from their homes. 19 homes were evacuated. They were allowed to return home the next day. And with the forest reopening, the city reminding residents to stay on marked trails. People are being asked to avoid areas that have been affected by the wildfire. Dogs also must be on leash. Preliminary findings indicate the fire was not deliberately set. And the warmer weather here in Northeast BC also calls for concern for the ongoing drought situation. The temperatures are causing an early snow melt. 15% of the snowpack is already melted. Now that's 10% above normal for this time of year. Across the Peace region, the snowpack is at 79% of normal, which is up slightly from April. Now, snow levels were below normal in all areas except for the Liard region here in northern BC near Fort Nelson. The snowpack there is at 128% of normal. However, rivers in northeastern BC are flowing at or near record low levels for early May. Spring and summer temperatures and precipitation are also key factors that will influence drought conditions. The Dawson Creek Hospital on diversion once again. Northern Health announcing the closure on social media late this afternoon. Now, the emergency room is on diversion starting from around 4 p.m. until 10 this evening. Once again, the health authority citing staffing challenges, but not saying if it's a shortage of doctors or nurses. Patients are being asked to still call 911 if they are having a medical emergency. They'll be transported to the nearest hospital. Well, keep your head up and your phone down. That's the message to drivers as BC's annual Work Zone Safety Campaign kicked off today.
People are still, not putting them away, not pairing their phones with their cars. They're still distracted by these devices, and it can have devastating, tragic results.
Police were out this morning checking for speeders, distracted driving, and compliance with traffic signs. From utility workers to landscapers, the 15th annual traffic enforcement event aims to increase awareness of anyone who's working on or near the side of the road. 9 roadside workers have been killed, more than 275 others injured over the past 10 years. British Columbia is attracting more nurses from south of the border, and the Premier is pointing to politics as a major motivating factor. A targeted marketing campaign will soon hit some U.S. states in hopes of filling the gaps in our healthcare system. CTV's Yvonne Raymond has the story.
Opportunity is knocking for a Texas nurse 2 weeks since her tour of an island hospital.
Things have just fallen in my lap since my visit to Nanaimo. Now I'm moving forward with the process to get my Canadian nursing license.
And she's not the only one showing interest.
President Trump's loss is British Columbia's gain.
We haven't even put an ad out in the market yet, and we've had over 1,200 inquiries.
The province is touting a win as it works on efficiencies to fast-track applications for U.S. nurses to work in Canada.
Since that early April implementation date, we have seen some significant impacts. Applications from U.S. trained nurses to British Columbia are up 127%.
The Premier says 177 nurses have applied since the program's launch. 113 have the green light.
Before this, we needed other nursing regulators and credentialing agencies to confirm a U.S. nurse's registration history and education, which often resulted in delays. But through collaboration with our U.S. counterparts, we can now confirm this information through NurseIS, a licensure database that gives us the information we need when we need it. This change has expedited registration decisions, as has been shared, but maintains the safeguards to ensure that a nurse can practice safely and competently in BC.
It's unclear yet how many will take a job. Rachel Smith-Taylor is motivated, but not committed yet.
I am in a same-sex relationship, and as we all know, the political upheaval that's going on, I think you don't have to say much about it. Everyone is aware, and it's just feels safer than where I am currently.
BC's Premier says ads are planned for Washington, Oregon, and California, Democratic states where workers may be looking for change to a Canadian climate long clamoring for more professionals in healthcare. Yvonne Raymond, CTV News, Victoria.
Next door in Alberta, measles cases there are increasing by nearly 12% over the weekend. There are now 365 cases, with Alberta Health reporting 39 new cases since Friday. 30 of those are in the south zone, while the 3 are in the central and 6 in the north. The province says a total of 14 of those cases are currently contagious. And Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says her government is freezing its industrial carbon price at $95 a ton, effective immediately.
As well. So this, I hope, will prompt a conversation for us to get in sync with the federal government. That's what we've been asking to do.
Well, the carbon price was set to rise to $110 per ton next year and was to continue increasing to $170 per ton by the year 2030. To Ottawa now, where the Prime Minister is putting the finishing touches on his new cabinet. Canadians will find out tomorrow morning who Mark Carney thinks can deliver quickly on his promise to set the country on a new path. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
Behind closed doors, Mark Carney and his transition team have been preparing to present who will take the lead on making the Liberals' campaign commitments come to life.
Taking these decisions around who is going to be in the ministry sets the tone for the entirety of the mandate.
Focus cabinet.
After appointing a slimmed-down ministry just before the election, CTV News has confirmed that Carney's cabinet roster is expected to stay under 30 people, but the Prime Minister's office says Carney will be installing essentially a two-tiered team. There will be a core group of cabinet ministers that will lead on the big files such as trade and Trump, and then there will be up to 10 secretaries of state, who in addition could be picking up less pressing portfolios or assist main ministers on specific files. This ministry, as it'll be called, isn't likely to be involved in all cabinet work, according to the PMO. CTV News has also confirmed that more than half of the MPs walking up to Rideau Hall tomorrow will be new faces. Someone who was in the room when the last Prime Minister was making these decisions said to expect Carney to leverage having a more regionally diverse roster and recruits with big resumes.
The prime consideration for Mr. Carney is going to be who has the skills to take the decisions and to lead at this critical moment for our country. Period. End of sentence.
As for what Canadians want to see this government focus on, Canada-US relations tops the list, according to Nanos research, followed by affordability, healthcare, housing, and tax cuts. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The sexual assault trial of 5 former members of Canada's World Junior Hockey team continued today. The fourth of 5 defense lawyers questioning the complainant in a London, Ontario courtroom. The lawyer for Dylan Dubé asking whether the woman known as EM was taunting the men in the hotel room where the alleged assault took place. She rejected that suggestion, saying she felt like an object. Earlier, the lawyer for Alex Formenton suggested that she led him to the bathroom for sex. She says he followed her and that she was, quote, resigned to it taking place. All 5 men are charged with sexual assault. They've all pleaded not guilty. And the high-profile sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs is now underway in New York City. The court hearing opening statements today. Combs has pled not guilty to all 5 counts against him, including racketeering and sex trafficking. Well, in the courtroom today, the prosecution focused on Combs' alleged abuse of Cassandra Ventura and another former girlfriend. The defense argued these were voluntary relationships with, quote, capable, strong adult women, unquote. The United States and China have both agreed to roll back counter tariffs imposed at the height of President Donald Trump's trade war.
What had occurred with these very high tariffs, as Ambassador Greer said, was the equivalent of an embargo, and neither side wants that.
Now, the U.S. is lowering its tariffs on Chinese goods from 145% down to 30%. China will drop its levies on American products from 125% to 10%. The changes take effect Wednesday. The trade war has already done considerable damage, bringing nearly $600 billion in trade to a standstill. China's exports to the U.S. fell sharply last month, hitting the country's manufacturing industry. American gross domestic product contracted for the first time since early 2022. And an American-Israeli hostage is now back in Israel after being released by Hamas. The crowd greeting the convoy, believed to be carrying Eden Alexander, as it passed through a kibbutz near the Israeli-Gaza border. The 21-year-old dual American-Israeli citizen was serving in the Israeli Defense Force when he was taken hostage during the October 7th attack. His release is the first since the ceasefire was shattered back in March. For the 3rd month in a row, Stats Canada says fewer Canadians are traveling internationally. StatsCan says international travel in April saw a 15% decline compared to last year. International arrivals to Canada by car and air fell to 4.5 million. It's the 3rd consecutive month of year-over-year declines. The number of U.S. resident trips to Canada fell by 10%. Meantime, the number of Canadians who made return trips from the United States fell by a whopping 35%. Well, for the first time ever in British Columbia, someone has won an $80 million jackpot. The winning player or players getting all 7 numbers correct in Friday's Lotto Max draw. So far, nobody's claimed the big win, but the ticket was purchased in Surrey, British Columbia. Winners have 52 weeks to claim their prize.
It is the largest jackpot ever won in British Columbia. We've had a $70 million winner back in 2021. I believe we had a $64 million just last year on Lotto 649. Never before have we seen an $80 million in BC, but thankfully, hopefully we won't have to wait too long for that winner to come forward.
And if you are the winner of the lucky ticket, BCLC is recommending that you consult with legal or financial services to help manage this amount of money. No doubt. All right, stay tuned. I'll be right back after the break with weather.